Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to add the fly to our game. And the fly, it's basically this one that you see here. So it from time to time it appears in one of the houses, chooses a random house, appears in one of the houses, waits for a few seconds and disappears and repeats all over again. And the idea here is that if the player, the frog, is able to catch the fly, then you get extra 200 points. And that's basically it to increase the points. So basically, I started by importing the fly has a new actor. So I created a new actor, I imported the fly, and I don't think I changed a lot of things here. Yeah, on the physics, we can say that the fly cannot move. And on the properties, just make sure that the fly is on the group actor so that it can collide with the player. But by default, I think they are all on the actor, so it's not a problem. And so I created a fly, and now who's going to generate the fly? It's going to be on the, we are going to generate the fly on the house spawner. And why is that? Why is that? Because it is the house spawner that is creating the regions for each one of the houses. So the house spawner already has the references to each one of these regions, and we can use those references to choose where to place the fly. So basically what we are going to do is we are going to wait for a few seconds, like a random time interval. We are going to wait, and then we are going to choose one of the houses and instantiate, create the actor of the fly inside that house, wait for a few seconds, and destroy the fly. And then it starts again from the beginning. So we keep waiting, choosing one of the houses, creating the fly, and destroying the fly. That's basically it. And where I'm doing that is here on the house spawner on the created event. So I added all these blocks, and these blocks are the ones that are creating the fly and dealing with the whole fly lifecycle. So let me just explain what's happening here. So basically, I have a do every seconds block, and what I'm doing, I'm choosing a random float value between 7 and 10. And so this means that the fly will appear randomly between 7 seconds and 10 seconds. Every 10 to 10 seconds, the fly will appear. So this is the time that we are waiting. I don't know exactly what is the time in the original game to show the fly, so I just threw some values that seemed okay here. So 7 to 10 seconds, it looks okay. And then I'm gonna like deconstruct this, and then I'm in this block. What I'm doing is I'm choosing the house, the random, like a random house. Now the problem here is that we need to make sure that the house is not occupied, because we don't want to be showing the fly where the player has already took a frog into one of the houses, because in that way the player could not pick up the fly. So what I'm doing here, this block is to choose a house that is not yet occupied. And how I'm doing this, you can see that I have a new parameter here, the fly house index. It's a new parameter that I created, which is a number parameter. And basically what I'm doing is this parameter starts with a default value of -1. And so what I'm doing is I'm repeating this block while I'm repeating this block until the fly house index is not -1. So what I'm doing is the value starts at -1. I'm gonna select a random house, like a random index. I'm gonna generate a number and select a random house. And if that house is not occupied, then the fly house index is gonna be that number. But if the house is occupied, then the fly house index continues as -1, and I try again. So I try to generate a new number until I get one of the houses that is no longer occupied. This is not the most efficient process, because as you can see, we are going to be like looping throughout the houses until we can find one that is not occupied. And since we are generating random numbers, it might take a while to find one of the houses, but usually this is quite fast, so it's not a problem. So we are repeating this, so you can see that I'm setting the fly house index to a random value. And here, the random value is a random value between 0 and the last index of the houses. So we have a list of houses where we were generating the regions and we are adding them to the houses. And so basically I'm choosing a random index of that list. And remember that to get the last number of the list, the last index of the list is always equal to the number of items in the list minus 1. So in this case we have 5 houses, which means that we are going to have indexes from 0 to 4. So I'm setting the fly house index to that number, and then I'm gonna get the value from house occupied. Remember that we have a list, another list that has like a true or false values that tells me which houses are already occupied. So what I'm doing is I'm setting the value to the fly house index. Then I go to that list and get the value for that house. That is going to tell me, okay, is this house occupied or not? And if the house is occupied, so this will return true or false, true when the house is occupied. And so if that house is occupied, I'm setting the fly house index back to -1. And so when it ends the loop, if it's -1, it's going to repeat. If it's not -1, this loop stops and continues with the code. And that's how I'm choosing a random house. So this is the box to choose a random house, and then we have all this. And this is to create the flag, the fly. So you can see that I'm creating the fly and I need to position the fly at the position of the house. So basically what I'm doing is I'm getting the item from houses using the fly house index, the number that I just generated on before. And I'm getting basically the position of the house, like the X position and the Y position of the house. That's basically it. I'm creating the fly at that position, and I created a new actor called fly so that I can kill it later. And I'm setting the fly, that attribute, a new attribute called fly, and I'm setting that attribute to the actor that I just created. And this is basically so that I have a reference to the actor, because, like I said, after a few seconds, I need to kill that actor. I need to destroy the fly, so I need to have a reference to the fly that I just created. And so, repeat until, so create, not here, no, yes, here, repeat, no, I'm getting this inside the repeat, I don't want to, here. Repeat until something, I create the fly, I set the fly to the last created actor, and after I do this, I start a new block that is going to wait for between 3 and 5 seconds, and it's going to kill the fly. And basically here you can see that if I'm only killing the fly if the fly is alive, and this is why. This is because the player might have already catch the fly in between these seconds. So if the fly is alive, I'm gonna kill it, and I'm resetting the value, the fly house index, to -1. And so after 7 to 10 seconds, this will happen again, and it continues throughout the game. Now, the only thing to notice here is that the value that you use here needs to be different than the value that you cannot have a longer value here than here, because this is waiting to create flies, and it's going to be creating flies, but if you take too long to destroy the flies, when the fire appears, if you take too long to destroy the fly, meaning at least if you have the same time amount as you are waiting to create the next one, you're gonna start having multiple flies in the game. So just make sure that these seconds here are shorter than, or this time range here is shorter than the one in the top. And so this is the code to create the fly at random houses. Now we need to see how to actually catch the fly. And to catch the fly is really simple. So we go to the frog collision, which is where we are detecting the collision with everything. And we have a new event on fly collision, which is basically when the self hits a fly. And this is an event of actor type. So when collisions, when the actor collides with an actor type, because we only have one fly, so we can just detect the collision with that actor type, not the fly exactly. And so when the self hits a fly, I just increment score by 200 and kill the actor of type. And remember that this first actor is the one that we have here. So in this case, the first actor is exactly this actor where we are using this event, and the actor of type is, in this case, the fly. So we increment the score and we kill the fly. And this is it. So let me try and see if I can catch one of the flies, which is really hard, but I probably won't be able to do it, but let's see. And yes, this is the only thing that we need to worry about. Where? Oh, I don't know why I can't bring the game here. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to try catch a fly. Probably I won't be able to do it, so it's not worth it. So this is it. You create a fly, random houses, select a random house, create a fly, wait, destroy the fly if it's still alive, and catch the fly using the collision on the frog collision. So that's it. On the next video, I'm going to show you another extra actor that we have in the game, which is the lady frog. So I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.